गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। गुड इवनिंग, गुड इवनिंग। क्या हो गया चैट बॉक्स में? गुड इवनिंग ऋषभ, गुड इवनिंग भरत, गुड इवनिंग इमरान, गुड इवनिंग वरुण, गुड इवनिंग संतोष, गुड इवनिंग, गुड इवनिंग। ब्यूटीफुल गाइस। स्ट्रीम विल बी देयर फॉर 1.5 आवर्स ओनली बिकॉज मेरा एक मीटिंग चल रहा है, उसमें म्यूट में डाल के मैं लाइव कर रहा हूँ। बोरिंग है बहुत मीटिंग। ओके, बीच बीच में म्यूट में चल रहा हूँ, बीच बीच में म्यूट में जा रहा हूँ मैं, अभी बता दे रहा हूँ। गुड इवनिंग समर्थ। सो फटाफट से वी विल कंप्लीट द स्क्रीनिंग पर्सपेक्टिव्स। टारगेट आके 3022 तक है। गैस गलती से भी एग्जिट मत करना, बोल रहा हूँ। एमटीएसएल फॉलो करो। चलो आज टिप भी दे दे तो एमटीएसएल कहाँ पे रखना है। नॉर्मल एंट्री का एमटीएसएल पॉइंट ये होगा। ओके, फर्स्ट एड ऑन का एमटीएसएल यहाँ पे होगा, सेकंड एड ऑन का एमटीएसएल यहाँ पे, थर्ड एड ऑन, फोर्थ एड ऑन सब इस लाइनअप में होगी। बट फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ एमटीएसएल यहाँ पे होगा। टेक होम शुड बी मोर देन 600 पिप्स। ओके, 600 पिप्स में सब लोग डायरेक्टली सिस्टम ट्रेलिंग लगा के बेच सकते हो, प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ठीक है। स्टार्टिंग विद डेली टाइम फ्रेम, ओनेडा आ गया है ना। इधर देखो, इधर 70 पिप्स का मूवमेंट दिखा रहा है, इसमें मेरे को अभी भी 69 दिखा रहा है। सो गेट बैक टू ओनेडा गाइस एवरीवन। द डेली टाइम फ्रेम, starting with daily time frame, look for an allocation perspective starting with the demand range of action. इस point of action में ये मेरा demand होगा। This is my inducement. With the inducement, continuity of the break. With the continuity of the break, multiply the version and the retracement. With the retracement, next plan of action will be taken under the consideration with the previous demand. With the previous demand, multiply it by 2, 150% rejection. With the 150% rejection, what are the market trying to indicate at the current state? A reversal. A reversal will be taken under the consideration of point of 1, in which we will be multiplying and reallocating it post to the next. मार्केट में रिट्रेसमेंट कितना मिला? जितना मेरा प्रीवियस एक्शन पॉइंट है उतने का ही रिजेक्शन यहाँ पे दिखने को मिली थी, उसके साथ कंटिन्यूटी। कंटिन्यूटी में व्हाट आर द मेजर स्टेप ऑफ एक्शंस दैट आई विल बी लुकिंग? अ रीअलोकेशन पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ 200%। 200% के साथ मार्केट में एक retracement point generate हुआ था, that will be as per your previous. With the previous retracement point of action, the first action point will be taken under the consideration of the previous. This point of action will be taken and mapped to the next post the retracement action. With the retracement point, what do we notice? Market tend to move till the point of action with that small gap of action, and market tend to break. So what are the next steps that we'll be looking over here? The next steps we'll be looking over here is in the 4 hours time frame. With the 4 hours time frame, what are the major scenarios that will be marked out? We'll be looking for the next plan of action as per the previous and allocation. In this scenario, this will act as my current. With the current demand action plan, what did market tend to do? सुबह में जो draw out किए थे, this will act as my first. Post act of the first, continuity with the continuity double. Target action plan of the current state is till the point of interest of 3055. With 3055, what are the next steps that we'll be looking? We'll come down to 4 hours. In 4 hours, what are the major circulatings that we'll be allocating? This will be my previous supply. With the previous supply, this is my previous demand. Previous demand will act as my current at this current point of action. With that continuity in the breakthrough, market took a rejection from the same spot. With the same spot of rejections, what did market try to give an indication of? The movement continuity. The movement continuity will be taken from the action plan of the retracement, which is this in the current scenario point. This will act as my next. With this next action point, there is a break and continue. In the break and continue, what do? We look for an allocation. With the allocation perspective, 150% rejection, उसके साथ हमको 4 hours में एक minimality zone create होते हुए दिखी थी. With the creation of minimality zone, what are the next steps that we'll be following at the current stage? The next step will be look for the post allocation point of interest. Post allocation point of interest कहाँ से देखेंगे? From the previous plan of action to the current. In this scenario, currently the movement has taken place with two gap up points with the supply generation at the same with the continuity. The market tend to allocate over here with the price of action of 1. So with the price of action of 1, market tend to break. At this current scenario, this will act as my point of interest. जैसे ही मेरा break of structure generate होते हुए दिखा, what are the next steps that we'll be following? We'll be following an allocation of the previous. In this scenario, this will act as my previous allocation points. With the previous allocation points, the next. With the next point of interest, what are the major scenarios that I'll be looking at this current state of action? I'll come down to 1 hour for allocations. The major allocation perspectives will be in the circumstances of to the previous. Look for the mathematical numbers with the reallocation perspective. Right. So with this circumstances, what are the major things that we'll be following at this scenario? The scenario one action point will be taken from this point of action, which will act as my previous demand of the range. With the previous demand of range, what is the plan of action that will act? The demand will get converted as my supply in the first plan of action. जैसे ही plan of action allocate हुआ, market tend to continue and break. With this allocation perspective of 1, there is a continuity. With the continuity, I look for the next 150% rejection. With the 150% rejection, what is the next step that I'll be following? The next step I'll be following is in look of allocation point. In look of allocation point, matlab, the first action plan will be taken under the scenario of this, second action plan will be taken under the scenario of this. With this, reallocation of the spectrum, point 1 will be taken under the consideration, point 2 will be taken under the consideration. In this point of action, 200%. In this scenario 2 point of action, we will be looking for 150%. With this, next plan of action will be taken under the steps which will be looked out into the scenarios of this will act as my swing high. This will act as my swing high. This will act as my swing low. This will act as my retracement. Let's do the math and check what are the numbers that we are getting at the current state of actions. Right? With the current state of actions, the plan of execution for the short trade in BT gold could be in the scenarios of 3168.440 minus 3116.838. What is the formulative number? The formulative number is 51.602. What is the retracement point? 3133.452. With this 3133.425 minus 51.602 जो कि हमारा formulative number है into 1.618, what is the target that we are having at the current state? The target that we are having is 3055. With the 3055, what is the next intermediate ratio that I'm having at the current state of actions with 2? That is 3033. So this will be my next plan of action at the current consideration. With the current considerations, what are the next market plans that we'll be following at the current stage? We'll come down to 15 minutes and look for the next. In this scenarios, what are the next plan of actions that will be looked and carry forward? Come down to 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, What are the major circumstances that will be looked and followed through? We'll look for each and every allocations with the pressure allocating point. With the pressure allocating point, what are the major point of interest that will be taken under the consideration? At the current stage of action, each and every perspectives, there is a retailer's trap. So retailer's trap is looked at every perpendiculars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But the major allocation will be taken through the next. So at this current state of action, this is my first supply of action. सॉरी फर्स्ट डिमांड ऑफ एक्शन रिजेक्शन कितना लिया जितना मेरा पीओआई रेंज है उतने का ही रिजेक्शन लेके कंटिन्यूटी with the continuity market tend to give a break we will relook for the allocation point with the relook of allocation point अगर market break होता है minimality generate हुई है with this minimality point of action what are the next steps that we'll be looking we will be looking for 150% rejection in this point of interest our major plan of action will be 3022 in this scenario right कोई डाउट है गोल्ड में कमिंग डाउन टू बीटीसी जो भी डाउट्स है आप लोग बना के रखो वी विल लुक फॉर द नेक्स्ट स्टार्टिंग परपेचुअल मूवमेंट्स अलोकेशन के साथ देखेंगे पीओआई रेंज के साथ अलोकेशंस होगा in the current scenario point of interest what are the major things that will be looked at point of interest one which will be acting post my inducement range of action with the inducement range of action the rejection with the rejection perspectives what are the next steps that will be following at this current stage allocation of the buying pressure with the allocation of the buying pressure, the next movement will be taken under the consideration of the mathematical number in this current scenario, which will be this. With the mathematical numbers, what are the next steps that we'll be looking at? We'll be looking for internal liquidity points. With this internal liquidity points at the current stage of action will be under this point. With this point of action, there will be a demand which will be built. With this demand action plan, what are the next steps that I'll be looking? I'll be allocating the same with the next post the range of action of S2B1 setup. Body closure same mila. What are the next steps that I'll be following? I'll be following the action plan of the current. With the current action plan, market में rejection कितना मिला है यहाँ पे जितना मेरा previous allocation point है जितना मेरा previous allocation point at the current stage will be of this green zone which is supply which will get converted as my demand. With the demand action plan, what are the next steps that I'll be looking? What are they saying, Richard? No. Don't agree till the time they give a closure of 37% of equity shareholdings. Don't go below that. Max to max, hard negotiation point is at 36.5, not more than that. Okay. No, don't drop the valuation. Valuation should be at the same point of interest, which will be taken under the consideration of 1000. Let me know once on that deal is done. So post this allocation points, the next point of action will be taken under the consideration of the previous with the retracement point of action. With the retracement point of action, there is a reallocation perspective. With the reallocation perspective, the next action plan will be taken consideration as per the previous. In this scenario, the demand will act as this in the current point of action. With the current point of action, market attempt to break and taken the rejection. So we'll be marking this point of interest from this range to this range. With this range of action, we'll double it and look for a 150% rejection. So here we are having a 150% rejection on a breakthrough in today's movement. We can see the movement till 80,222. Okay, with this plan of action, we will look for the next. What is the next moment action plan that we'll be following? We will be looking for 4 hours. With the 4 hours action plan, we will be allocating the price action point, which will be taken under the consideration of the previous. At this current state of action, swing low, and this will act as my swing high, and this will act as my retracement point. The target one is of 88,037, which is mathematical concept. With that point of interest, the next target that we'll be working at the state of actions for 4 hours is 90,147.35. Post marking the level of allocations, what are the next steps that I'll be following at the current states? We'll be looking for a demand range allocation. डिमांड रेंज allocation देखने के लिए सप्लाई जानना जरूरी होगा. At this current stage, this is my previous supply with the previous supply continuity with the continuity markup, right? Because there was a break of structure and carry forward in the action plan, so we look for the same and allocate in the point of interest. With the point of interest allocations, what are the next steps that we'll be looking and following through with? We'll be looking for a next price action point of demand zone. So demand zone plan of actions will be taken under the consideration of the next, which will be in 1 hour. With the 1 hour plan of actions, what are the major things that I'll be following at the current state of actions? We'll be looking for the previous allocation to the current. In this scenario, the first point of interest will be taken under the consideration of my previous demand zone, which will act as my retracement point with the retracement point continuity. In this zone of action, this is my first demand area of entire movement plan of action. This will act as my first. Because there is a break of structure, I am taking it with the wick. So with this, we'll look for an allocation of 200% with the 200% continuity. When there is a 200% continuity, what is the next step that we'll be following? We'll be following through a movement action plan of surrogation. Surrogation of taking step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, with this plan of action, we'll look for an execution. The point of interest 1, point of interest 2, point of interest 3, point of interest 4, point of interest 5. With this point of 5 interest, what are the next steps that we'll be looking? We'll be looking for a range of action which will be taken under the consideration of POIs. So with the POI range of action 1 and 2, the allocation will be completed. With the completion of the allocation, what are the next steps that we'll be following through? We'll be looking for a renegotiative plan of actions which will be taken under the consideration of the previous. With the previous plan of action, what did market tend to do at this point of range? This point of range, market had created a supply. The supply will be looked in 15 minutes. It will be easier for you to allocate. How do you look into the circumstances of the previous allocation point? The previous allocation point will be looked into the structure of the first demand, which will be taken under the consideration. With the consideration of first, we'll look for the next. So this is the first demand action plan. With the first demand action plan, market change of structure, the last demand will act as my current, which is this point of action. With that multiplicity, plan of action 1, completion. With the completion point of interest, market tend to take the retracement with carry forward of the minimality. So this is the point of action 1, which will be taken under the consideration for the next. In the next considerable point, the market tend to continue 150%, 200% rejection. With the 200% rejections, what are the next steps that I'll be looking at? I'll be looking for a reallocation perspectives into the next action plan with a liquidity zone of conduct. With the liquidity zone of conduct, a small POI range was created for me at this point of action. With this point of actions, what are the next steps that I'll be looking at the current scenarios? the current scenario plan of action will be continuity of 150% because we had a minimality zone created. With the minimality zone creation, what are the next following step? I'll be looking at the scenario. This will be the point of interest. With the point of interest, reallocation as per the previous. With the previous allocation point, what are the steps that I'll be looking over here? The steps that I'll be looking over here is, एक second, ना? This. Suppose this allocation points, what are the next steps that I'll be following at the current range of action? हमारे पास POI range था, POI के साथ circulating supply थी. So point of action 1 will be taken from this point of action. This point of action will act as my next. With the next, there was a break and continuity. With the break and continuity, 200%. With the 200%, market took a rejection. With the rejection perspective, what was the setup that we will be looking and executing at this current state? The execution of the setup was S2B1. With S2B1 setup, market has tend to break and continue. With the break and continue, the first plan of action will be of this entire zone of action. With the entire zone of action, the previous will be the next with the next 200% allocation point. Whereas market currently at the 200 point of action. If this breaks and continue, what are the next steps that we'll be following? We will be looking for a movement action plan of the next, which will be 80,820 as our minimality range of action. Okay. Any doubts, guys? Please do ask. Beautiful, guys. Good evening, Anji. After a long time. Hope you're doing good. And everyone, congratulations on carrying the best trade and सबका best allocation होगा आज का. Imran, keep it up. Samar, keep it up. Good job, guys. 920 pips running, sir. Thank you so much. Biggest catch in the gold in one go. 870 pips running. Add on order pay 530 pips running. Super Imran. Recipe book super. मुझे तो सर ना बोल. सर इधर एक ही है. कोई भी सर नहीं है यहाँ पे. How many add-ons did you take, Imran? मेरे लिए सब सर है. One add-on first time. Okay. 3125. Great. Total 670 pips captured in gold. वाह, आप बोलो और हो ना हो ऐसे कैसे. 1150 pips running. No doubts. No doubts. No doubts. Yes, best of the best है. Great, guys. अगर किसी को भी एक जादू करना है ना, यहाँ पे लॉन्ग करो बिना शॉर्ट का एग्जिट किए. ओके. क्यों जनाब, रूल्स नहीं फॉलो करना है क्या? गुड इवनिंग वेंकट। Sir, Nifty. Today, Bank Nifty moved slightly, but Nifty didn't move at all. Same case happened previously as well. Is it because of Nifty gap down opening and then gave up move and stayed sideways the whole day? No, it's nothing like that. I'll explain it. No, no, Richard. No negotiations below 36.7. Exit 80% at 3078. Exit in the sense MTS अला system से exit नहीं. जहाँ पे सब नीचे के लिए बैठ रहे तुम ऊपर के लिए ट्रेड दियो. यस. हो गया ना मैम, और क्या चाहिए? 120 पिप्स रनिंग है लॉन्ग का भी. सिंगल कैंडल. Richard, we could give a counter offer to them. Say them we will close the deal with 35.5, but 70% of the allocations will be done in perspective of through the previous equity holdings, not to the current. Okay. Yeah. If they agree to close on that, then yes, definitely we can close on equity shareholdings of 35%. Yeah. The valuation cost will be different as per what we have discussed in the starting. Okay. Put me in touch with Rachel so that I can close the legal documents procedures within next coming 2 to 3 days. Okay. Yeah. Great. Hey, very good evening, Rachel. How are you doing? Great. I had a discussion with our finance team and as well as your finance team were in the part closures. With the part closures, we have agreed upon two allocations which I'll be taking place. With the scenario one, you give me 1600 CR in a go for 37.63% of equity shareholding of your company. Else, give me the equities worth of 35% as per the previous valuation. If you agree to that, definitely yes, we can go ahead with the deal. Sorry guys, sorry. Yes, doubts. कहाँ से? Today Nifty, Bank Nifty moved slightly, but Nifty didn't move at all. Some cases happened previously as well. It is because of Nifty gap down. No, नहीं वो scenario नहीं है. I'll give you the explanation in regards to the same. Okay. With that 100 pips running, thank you so much. How is it so accurate? Good evening, Sumit. Good evening, Sumit. Is there any private teachings on trading? Yes, we do have it. I joined in between. What was the rationale behind gold long trade? Liquidity hunt? No, it wasn't liquidity hunt. वो reason नहीं बता सकता, sorry. Okay. 240 pips running, gold order running, 3065 buy order, great and skip it up. 200 pips running in gold, great, keep it up. Sir, I missed 250 pips. वेंकट, देखो इतना दिन बोल रहे थे ट्रेड्स नहीं देते हो आज दिया. आज के बाद कभी मत पूछना फिर से ट्रेड्स. राइट, मेरे को मार्किंग करने का टाइम नहीं था बिकॉज आई एम हैविंग वन ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर मीटिंग गोइंग ऑन, सो उसके वजह से आई गेव यू द लॉन्ग एग्जीक्यूशन डायरेक्टली बिकॉज मार्किंग करना जितना टाइम नहीं है मेरे पास एट द करंट स्टेट. एमटीएसएल नेक टू नेक लेके चलो, नेक टू नेक 200 पिप्स के नीचे क्लोज, 200 पिप्स टेक होम. वेलकम बैक अगस्त्य. Executed the trade after 2 weeks. एंड तेरे मुंह में दही शक्कर, जैसे ही तुमने लॉन्ग बोला आई एग्जीक्यूटेड द ट्रेड रनिंग विद 280 पिप्स. भाई बोलने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, मजे करो. नहीं नहीं अरुंधति मैम, रहने दो, चलने दो. इट शुड बी रिटन इन फेथ सर. आई डोंट बिलीव इन फेथ, आई बिलीव इन हार्ड वर्क. Always remember guys, faith is only 1%, hard work 80%, smart work 20%. The smart work should be equivalent to the hard work in this 20%. Okay. That's totally fine if you didn't understand. मेरे बोलने पे लिए ना. Great. No one will understand this buy scenario. अगर assumption guess करना है तो कर सकते हो. स्क्रीनिंग के टाइम पे हमारे पास नंबर आया था 3055. ओके. उसके बाद 1 आवर पे हमारा ब्रेक ऑफ वॉल्यूम स्ट्रक्चर हुआ था 3064 पे. ओके. assumptions करना है तो बहुत बहुत सारे चीजों के साथ कर सकते हो. ओके. Great. Let's close the deal, guys. Beautiful. Keep it up. Good job, guys. Good job. This shouldn't have been done in 45 minutes. You guys pulled it for fucking 2 hours. Hey, Rachel. Thank you so much. It was nice working with you. We'll have a party soon in regards to the same. I'll be flying down to Zurich very soon. Once I come down, definitely we'll have a big party on this. Take care. See you guys, everyone. Bye bye. हाँ, अभी पूछो क्या डाउट्स है आपका. सबका डाउट्स क्लियर करूंगा. पूछो. Everyone can ask the doubts. सबका जवाब है. फर्स्ट आके नीलेश का डाउट. मॉर्निंग सेशन में मिनिमलिटी डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन करने बोले थे, करेक्ट? सो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर द सिनेरियो. So wherever the movement structure is built in the minimality range, so with that plan of action, there will be a breakthrough. Okay. So in this breakthrough scenario, what will happen? The iceberg orders get placed of the big players. Okay. With this iceberg order, there is a limitation which will play across in the demand zone, right? When the limitation plays across the demand zone, what will market tend to do? Market will tend to hunt the retailers. In the scenario, just for an example, think the movement is going in a direction, okay, towards a long side. Immediately, you see a movement towards the short. Okay, we know that this is a change of structure entirely, and market has taken the reversal. With this plan of action, what will market tend to do at the current state? Market will create a pullback, right? A small pullback candle will be created. When a small pullback candle will be created, what will market do? Market will definitely hunt all the retailers over here, because if we put a fib extension over here, this is 0.3 and 0.5 zone, right? At this structure plan of analysis, what will market look into the play? It will make everyone sit in the directions. With that, we will have an iceberg order placed in this zone. With the iceberg order, market will continue the 150 range of action. Okay. So that is the plan of indications what always market try to do. Okay, Nilesh, clear? So always remember this point of act. With this point of act, what will market give you an indication of? Definitely there is a surplus which will be pending in the downward movement. In that surplus action plan, market will tend to hunt it out, and with the hunt out, the market will create a liquidity zone in the same range of action with that continuity in the break. Right? Same scenario over here. What did market tend to do? In the surplus activity, if we zoom in the surplus activity point, there was a breakthrough, right? Partner 1, partner 2, partner 3, partner 4, break, retracement, continue. Okay. With this plan of action, what are the major things that you will be looking for an execution perspectives? Always wait for an surplus. Wherever there is a surplus action plan created, look for an hunt. So that is what minimality does in the zone of actions. When there is minimality zones created, always remember 150% range is always taken, no matter what. Okay. With the scenario of the movement towards the down, if you notice wherever the wick was generated in 1 hour, each and every perspective, do we have a volume? So this was a wick range, right? This should have been a reversal area. Did we had a volume at this zone? No. Did we had a volume at this zone? No. Did we had a volume at this zone? No. Right? So at every point of interest of today's movement, was there a spike in the volume? One, two. 1 second. Do we have a spike in volume? No. Why there is no spike in volume? Because there is no breakthrough of the previous only year. Till the time there is no breakthrough in the previous, how will you look for a circumstances? There is no looking out for a circumstances without a proper volume breakthrough. Right? Yesterday's long trade was very simple. In the scenario of the movement action plan, we had a break, iceberg order placed. On the continuity, the iceberg order was placed, the movement had continued the rally point. With the rally point of action, what did do you see the movement over here? The movement action plan was of nice 40 pips. The same action plan was taken under the consideration of the current. So always remember, be in the directions, market always give you the indications. Follow that indications. That's it. Anyone wants any other explanation? अभी वाला गोल्ड की एंट्री समझ नहीं आया, किसी को भी नहीं आएगा. That's totally fine, right? So next plan of action, important doubts. सुमित, लॉन्ग ट्रेड का पूछो मत, मैं बताऊंगा नहीं. थैंक यू सो मच वर्षा. कहाँ चाहिए पार्टी बताओ. हाँ वो आ रहा हो उसके लिए. द टीम हैज टू रीडेवलप, सॉरी रीडेवलप बोल रहा हूँ. वो इधर डालना है ना स्क्रीन पे, चार्ट. वेटिंग फॉर दैट. पार्टी व्हाट इज द इवेंट सर? जस्ट पीने का मन हो रहा था. All the new members, welcome to the stream. जो भी doubts है, please do ask. सर, स्ट्रीम है, 5,000 लोग देख रहे हैं एंड 3 पॉइंट कैप्चर करके बहुत खुश हो रहे हैं। अगर मैं वहां पर जाकर सुपर चैट करके बोलूं क्या, आई कैप्चर्ड एंटायरली ऑफ 1,400 टुडे, जिस दिन वो चीज करेगा उस दिन इस स्ट्रीम से बाहर हो जाएगा। तू सच बोल रहा हूँ वरुण। सर, मैंने आपका क्रिप्टो वाला बुक ऑनलाइन मंगाया है आज। ओके। वो हंसेगा मेरे पर एंड बोलेगा कि पेपर ट्रेडिंग और डेमो ट्रेडिंग में बहुत आसान है। हंसेगा तो हंसेगा, ठीक है। इमरान हंस, जितने भी लोग लॉन्ग के ट्रेड में हो, 400 पिप्स रनिंग में है, ट्रेल करके चलो। सिस्टम में रेड कैंडल के नीचे जो यहाँ पे दिख रहा है वहां पे सिस्टम ट्रेलिंग होना चाहिए, विच इज 300 पिप्स। एवरीवन गाइस, ओके, जिसको भी जानना है ना, ये ट्रेड ऑफ एग्जीक्यूशन क्यों हुआ था, कितने लोगों को जानना है ये ट्रेड ऑफ एग्जीक्यूशन क्यों हुआ था? Who wants to know why this trade was executed? Current gold trade is like yesterday BTC long. It was at 1.618, was 3056. It showed bullish pressure and then took buyer's SL before going up. Everyone, okay? ये सेटअप आज ही क्रिएट हुआ है। आज ही आपको एक इंस्टाग्राम पे वीडियो मिलेगा, जाके वीडियो देखो, उसके बाद आके बोलो क्या ये सेम सेटअप था कि नहीं। Go to Instagram. The video was uploaded in the afternoon. The trade was executed in the evening. Check that video. The ID is the same. Hit a like, come back and say was this same or not. Everyone go to the Instagram, see the video and come back and say whether is it the same one or no. All the new members, welcome to the stream. कोई भी doubt है in regards to the trading, please do ask. We are here to help you out to secure your futures. No, not that one, Imran. How to identify V-shaped recovery. I'm talking about that video. Hope everyone watched the video. No, Santosh. There is a video called as how does the market how to identify the V-shaped recovery. In the video, three candle wick is called out. However, here you said on the second running candle itself. I didn't call it on second running candle. This was the first, this was the second, here was the execution. Three wing. Three wing is what in the video, three wing is what is over here. It doesn't matter which color of candle it is in. Here the buying pressure is seen in the prospective combination of red and green candles or just red candle. In all the three candles, there was iceberg orders placed. Yes, they clear. That was the only reason for the execution towards the long. No other reason. With that, definitely yes, supply and demand will play a role. The supply action point will be taken under the consideration of the previous. The previous will be acting as my current with the current plan of action body because there is no break of structure. With no break of structure, allocation of the second, right? With this point of interest, market took a rejection from 200% with 200% entire movement allocation because there is a break of structure. With the break of structure, reallocation. Okay. On iceberg orders, you just mentioned, I remember you earlier said iceberg orders have low volume, but here volume seems considerably good. Please explain. If you remember that, you should be remembering this also. There is a reversal conditions which will be placed with high volume and weak rejections. You remember that? So in that scenario, let's come down to 1 hour and let's look for the high volume range with the wick creation. If do we notice, the point of interest of action was built in the red candle itself with the iceberg order. There are two types of iceberg orders. You read it half. Okay. With that point of interest only, market tend to build out the range of action in each and every candle from the high range of volumes. One, two, three. And the fourth, which is the reversal zone of conduct at this point, what do you notice? Sumit, hope you got the point. Yes, thinking and understanding. Thanks. No worries. सो क्या मार्केट में जो वीडियो के हिसाब से एक्सप्लेनेशन था उसी हिसाब से मार्केट ने मूवमेंट लेके वी शेप रिकवरी कंप्लीट की? प्रीवियस एमसी का अलोकेशन जो होता है भरत, राइट, वही एमसी को हम यहाँ पे यूज करेंगे। एक क्वेश्चन सर, ये जो रिवर्सल आया है यहाँ पे एमसी कैसे यूज करे सर, प्लीज बताना। जो प्रीवियस रिवर्सल पॉइंट ऑफ एक्शन है, that will act as your first mathematical number. Second, swing low, swing high retracement. वेंकट ये आपसे भी आगे निकल गया, 3114 से भी आगे निकल गया। For me today is green day and black day. ऐसे क्यों? 1750 all together in short and long. Keep it up. And हंसजी पूरा ईद कंप्लीट करके आए, फर्स्ट ट्रेड एग्जीक्यूट किए 3065 पे, उनका ट्रेड 750 पिप्स 750 पिप्स के साथ चल रहा है. Teeny profit as initiating and left the golden opportunity in gold. Golden opportunity comes every day in gold. 3 trades we get every day in gold. Samad, did you also execute the long? Yeah, did you miss it? Hey Patel, how are you? Good evening. ईद आज कंप्लीट हुआ है मेरी. अच्छा है. एंड ईद का तोहफा भी अच्छा है आपका. भरत, समझ में आ गया? Is the trade running in gold long? Is the trade running in long, sir? Yes. थोड़ा थोड़ा पटेल, स्क्रॉल करो चैट को ऊपर, पता चलेगा। आपका जो वीडियो है उसमें भी थर्ड कैंडल इज रेड एंड द फर्स्ट कैंडल इज रेड. The feeling of seeing the video is like you have just cut copy pasted the movement one day prior. Sir, as you suggested, I have requested to close my Exness account as Aadhaar and PAN was given. Now open new account, but when I upload DL, it's get rejected. Tried multiple times. Other option is voter ID. Voter ID is not an issue. You can use voter ID. So is it okay if I use voter ID or should try with DL only? Voter ID, DL or passport works because that are not linked with your PAN. आप बोले थे फोमो में नहीं लेना इसलिए. अगर ये ट्रेड तुम मेरे को फोमो बोल रहे हो ना. हाँ, अगर डेफिनेटली मैं यहाँ पे शॉर्ट के लिए बोलता वो फोमो होती, क्योंकि इतना बड़ा मूवमेंट मिस करने के बाद एक छोटा प्रॉफिट देखने का ये रहता. मेरा हुआ है ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस से. ओके ग्रेट. ओके, लॉन्ग रनिंग फ्रॉम 3065, यस. एंड हमारा शॉर्ट रनिंग था 3150 से, 3157 से, 3147 से, 3128 से, 3133 से. वो ट्रेड हमारा 1200 पॉइंट्स से 1000 पॉइंट्स के बीच में क्लोज हुआ. ये ट्रेड चल रहा है 700 पॉइंट्स के साथ. मेरे लिए नहीं, मेरे लिए फोमो मतलब लैक ऑफ नॉलेज. अगर वो है देन इट्स फाइन, दैट्स टोटली ओके. नहीं लिया तो भी चलेगा. ओनेडा वापस आ गया हमारे पास, सो रोज होगा. सो कीपिंग इन माइंड टुडे इज द 50th or 53rd डे, क्लोजिंग इन ग्रीन इन द लाइव स्ट्रीम. कीप इट अप एवरीवन. नीलेश, क्या आपका प्रीवियस अकाउंट क्लोज हो गया? रिक्वेस्ट डाला बोला ना उसको. विड्रॉल आ गया क्या, पूछ लो उसको. ट्रिलियन 55 मेल तो किया है। हाँ, बट क्या सपोर्ट टीम से मेल आया अकाउंट इज डिसेबल्ड ऐसा कुछ? आज सुबह ही मेल किया था, अभी तक तो नहीं आया। 3 days reply time. And everyone follow the rule of fearless trading with proper risk to reward. उसके साथ emotional less trading, जीतने से खुशी मनाना, हारने से दुखी हो जाना is not the quality of the traders. Be carrying the poker face in the directions of the mark till the targets are hit. Patience-full trade is very much important, and sitting patientfully is the calmness that will build while you're in the directions of the math. With that, make sure no impatience-full trade is taken and there is no running candle executions, no FOMO trades. All the new members, 2 years of back testing, 1.5 years of forward relay bar testing, 1 month of live example testing. With that, small account executions to build the confidence. With the small account building, you come up with the value of the account, whatever you want to trade with following the proper risk to reward. This is Nitesh signing off for today. मिलते हैं कल सुबह, तब तक के लिए take care. Bye bye. Nitesh signing off.